3, 2, 1.
Motherfucker, my track has 4 claps in it right now.
Hey, hey, and like Dalan said, it's all for cadence. You got to make sure you hit it at the right. Did you say cadence, or what was the word you said, Dalan?
No, I didn't use the word
I
cadence
thought
at
you
all.
said
I'll let
cadence.
you
See, I'm
have
trying
it.
to give you
It's
more
fine.
credit than you
Yes,
probably
I'll take
deserve.
it.
No, not anymore. Not with that attitude. Anyways, that's Salient Points for November 29th, 2021. What episode is this? 48, right? I'm Carlos Macias, as per usual, your host, commander of... I'm a little sick. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but I'm a little sickly, so I'm going to try to survive. Yeah, so make sure to check out wegotcoms.com, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And as we found out recently, the guy with the 95% hit rate of making it to the show, also future mayor of Crestline, Mr. Dalan Kirkwood from up in the mountains. Thank you for joining us, Dalan.
Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
Wow, I don't even know what that means. Is that Toonami or Animal Swim or Adult Swim?
Tsunami.
Is that what that is, Dalan?
You said Animal Swim. Move on, Carl.
So thanks for joining us, Dalan, with your 95% hit rate. Luis Mendez, the Wheels of Steel himself, thank you for joining us from DTLA, sir.
Of course. Hey, so I know you give Dalan a lot of crap for his 95%, but keep in mind, the host of the show, the co-pilot, the whatever, the costest with the mostest, whatever title you just gave yourself, you missed an episode one time, and he held the fort down.
He did.
So-
And I actually told him, I was like, blow it up, Dalan. And he's like, I don't know what's up with your format. It's like, I told you to blow it up. Like, do your own thing. And what he did, he was like, I'm just going to wing it. I'm just going to follow the same format. But it's fine. But he did hold it down. So thank you very much. Hey, this past week, there wasn't too much. It was a short week. It is kind of like we're in the post-Thanksgiving holiday. I hope you guys had a good one out there. And there's plenty of food. There's definitely plenty of food over here. You guys have plenty of food on your side of things, Dalan?
I have too much food.
Okay.
I went and saw my cousins after this whole COVID thing started to wane down. Obviously, now there's the new Omicron variant, but I was happy to see my family. Then immediately after I took food home with me from them, I made my own Thanksgiving dinner that weekend. So
Wow, you were really wild out. And I heard you had watery mashed potatoes
Mashed
or whatever.
potatoes.
But you said it was okay.
I hope to God my cousin is not hearing this right now.
Oh, we're gonna send him a link. Don't you worry, dude. He's gonna be a 13th subscriber out there.
Oh.
Luis, how about you, man? You shook your head. You just did the one meal.
Oh, because I left. I didn't bring any leftovers or anything with me. They all stayed at my mom's house. Everyone was just like, "Good luck, we're leaving." So
you know what? You know what? Good luck with the rest of this.
But I was out there, made myself some cranberry sauce and stuffing. Brother came over with the turkey. Sister made the mac and cheese.
Cranberry sauce with a little bit of pineapple in there.
Cinnamon, no. Orange juice, that's it.
Okay.
Very simple,
classic.
sugar.
Kept it classic, kept it real. You know who's not keeping it classic? Well, it is classic in the sense that people have been cheating since time immemorial, right? But the cheaters have invaded Halo Infinite multiplayer, apparently. So Kotaku said these cheaters are using, actually, they're insta-clicking heads with Aimbot. So we love those Aimbots. Console players right now are asking for the ability to disable crossplay, which we've been able to do, right? If you play Call of Duty, you're able to say, just give me the console players, right? I don't know if it's on the PC side.
Yeah, Call of Duty, Rocket League.
That is your
you
favorite thing to do.
Yeah. I mean, look, Rocket League is fine because there's people apparently playing on a keyboard in Rocket League, which is weird, but that's fine. Let them use a keyboard all day. I don't care about that. But first person shooter is a little different. Our very own Deo Bloss on Twitter said, he said, or put a better anti-cheat into the PC version. Halo Master Chief Collection has an anti-cheat version, so what's stopping them from implementing it? It helped curb a lot of that crap. And this is a beta, guys. FFS, I looked it up. I don't know all these terms online. I think he said for F's sake. So that's a little saucy, Deo. It's a little saucy out there, but I like it. I like it.
I was trying to figure out what FFS meant.
See,
Yeah,
Luis knew.
thing,
Luis knew because I knew. He was like, "Oh, I can't. Who am I podcasting with?" He knew, but I didn't. I had to look that up. So
I apologize. I might curse, but I don't curse like a sailor.
So Dalan, what are your thoughts on this, man? Would just disabling it, giving us that little toggle feature, that'll solve all our problems, or like Deo was saying, like there's an anti-cheat like method, or there's a version that helps with that.
Having the ability to disable it will solve half the problem. because even though for the console players you won't have the people that can just point and click and just have those aimbots, you still have the people that play it on PC, and there are people that legitimately play it on PC. It's not like everybody on PC is just out there hacking and using these aimbots. There are a lot of legitimate people out there just trying to aim and shoot, but they're getting murdered because there are other people that don't care about that legitimacy.
Yeah, and it's funny, right? Like, what makes it so fun, right? Like, you would like, what are you trying to prove here? I mean, maybe in the sense that it kind of contributes to the league, right? Like the season pass or whatever it is. But it's like, really, I mean, that's what it comes down to, right? Like the league pass. Maybe that's kind of maybe part of the problem too, right? If everybody's just trying to get their XP up and try to make it work out that way. Luis, what are your thoughts on this, man? What they got to do? What does a 343 got to do?
What do they got to do?
What they got to do, man?
I don't know, man. I feel like they should have, at this rate in the sort of the culture of gaming and specifically shooters, I feel like they should have known that they had to do some sort of anti-cheat. And like Dale said, they did it at some point. I don't know if it's easy enough for them to do it now, since the game's basically, I mean, it's still in beta, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's still beta, and I'm pretty sure it's still going to be in beta day one when the campaign drops, right? But yeah, I mean, they're saying, like, look, we're not done yet. Thank you for doing what you just did, Dalan. You were definitely frozen. But we can still hear you, though. You were still coming through clean. Yeah, I mean, it is in beta, but I think that sometimes, in a way, it gives them an out, right? Like, we talked about it before. It's like, don't give these guys an out, man. Even though they did surprise us with the multiplayer and all that, but they can't implement it, right?
Well, yeah, I just never understood the cheating thing. Like, I don't understand what makes it so fun for them. Maybe just because it's something that shouldn't be possible that they're doing. Maybe that's where the fun comes, just ruining other people's good time, I guess. I'm
yeah,
not
like
sure.
The troll factor is so high, but so many people just want to troll, though. It's kind of like,
yeah.
I mean, the thing is, when I don't know. We've talked about it before. I think the best thing to do is like shove all these guys into like their own little playlist, right? And they can just, and if we want to, we have the ability to wander in there just to see some wackiness. But honestly, why would we, right? But they should like pit the cheaters against the cheaters, man. Do it that way. Dalan,
apparently Vanguard is doing it though. I saw there's this streamer that I watch, and he's really good, and I guess got reported for cheating, and they thought he was. And he was in lobbies. It would take him, 10, 15 minutes to get into a queue, even longer sometimes. And everyone else in there, aside from him, was clearly cheating. Like, the entire lobby was cheating. And he's like, why am I playing with these guys?
Well, in Call of Duty, Call of Duty's talking about, like, they're going to do it across the board forever. Past games, future games, all, like, forever. We don't want your kind.
So there he is. Here. Now he's just in cheater lobby. So I guess Vanguard is doing it. But they kind of miss the mark sometimes, I guess. So.
But it's like those little images, those capture things. Honestly, I don't know about you guys, but I just fucking click random ones. I'm like, click. Can you get me out of here, please? Please get me out of this. Dalan, any other thoughts on this cheating scandal? Well, I don't know if it's a scandal, but it's a thing. Before we move on,
it's very scandalous. I think there's actually a huge difference between cheating on PvP and PvE. I think we've talked about it once before, but it's one thing to cheat on PvE where you don't care about breaking the game and getting through whatever missions it is and trying to kill all the enemies. But when you're doing PvP, it's just less fair when it's not fair.
Yeah.
It's less fun when it's not fair.
Yeah. I mean, I got you, Dalan. But you know what? I gave you a little pause because I was like, how deep do I want to dig them into the ground real quick? But I mean, as far as like, I think you're 100% correct though. As far as like the PvE stuff, dude, we've cheesed Destiny so many times. We will always take a cheese. We live for those cheeses. But it's us ruining the AI's day, not competitive, with other real life human beings, right? It's like, look, we hate the AI. They're trying to keep us from that sweet loot. So we're going to, try to cheese it as much as we can. We never did unplug our consoles like people were doing in one of the raids, though. Did we ever do that? The people were literally unplugging their consoles, Luis, for one of the raids.
No, for the Chrono raid, there was a point where we had like one person literally quitting out of the raid in order to make Crota freeze, so we could just sit there and wail on him as soon as he's in damage.
And didn't someone have like a modem switch or a toggle or something? Oh, I could just turn off and on real quick. I'm like, Okay.
Okay.
All right, that's what we're doing. Dalan, you got a big story here, man? Is this what you typed in, or Luis? What is your guys'?
I typed it in,
Okay.
but only because I wanted to actually let everybody know who actually listens to our podcast. In the next couple of weeks, we do plan on doing a bit of a Game of the Year special where we're actually going to get together in person and we're going to talk about our games of the year.
We hold on. We haven't figured all that out. That is
no. I said the
hope,
next
but...
couple of weeks. We haven't actually.
No.
You're
You're talking about the in-person thing. The in-person.
Yeah.
I would love to. That's the best thing we can't promise in person. I would like to make it happen, but. Yeah, you're wilding out. See, this is the thing.
Wait, are you concerned about Omicron right now?
This is why I don't let you impromptu crap, because it's like, whoa. We've been waiting on that Sainted podcast, Dalan, and it hasn't happened, all right? You announced that shit like 6 weeks ago or however long ago. But yes, Game of the Year is happening. We will be speaking on it, and I hope we get Deo on it. We just got to figure out a time that works for everyone. But yeah, definitely. I'm hoping it gets a little smoky. Luis, any stories for you? Anything big?
No story, but I guess on that topic, I did go on a Black Friday, Cyber Monday, whatever, gaming spree and just bought a crap ton of games. So I got your favorite developers.
You gotta put it up against your blurry screen right now?
No, I said I got it downstairs. I got it downstairs. Probably your game of the year, I think it was. I remember you saying you really liked it. A Deathloop is waiting for me in my package room, so I'm gonna go get that.
That's his game of the year right there.
The most arcane,
and then a few others coming up
the
in the
most
next few days.
arcane ass game to ever arcane, Dalan. Is that what you're saying? Oh man.
I
tried, dude.
Arcane game to ever arcade.
I don't know what to tell you. I tried. I gave it a shot. Hey, so, real quick.
Well, hold on, wait. He was still on something. What else?
Oh, go ahead, Liz. My bad.
I just said I got another few will be coming in the next coming days. So like Guardians of the Galaxy, Paper Mario, that kind of stuff. Like 5 other games. So.
Guardians of the Galaxy, did you get it for like $26, $27 or something?
It was like
cheap.
30 or 35, something like that.
Yeah,
I think it was like 40.
And apparently that's pretty decent, actually. It's pretty decent. So we'll move it on to our quick hits here. The first one on the list is Half-Life 3 is not in active development. Apparently Valve is focusing on the Steam Deck. That thing is sold out. It's been delayed like 50 times, so they're working on that, right? Plus, they haven't been working on Half-Life for the longest time either, man. They just like stealth dropped Alex on us, and they were like, here, shut up. Let us make money elsewhere. So we have a quote from This is Tyler McVicker, and I guess he writes for Valve News Network. I'm assuming he's pretty reputable because this is from what's the one we've been following? VGC, Video Game Chronicle. Those guys are pretty good over there. So he said, quote, Valve is working on a piece of software to best showcase what the Steam Deck is capable of doing. Citadel is what they're working on. Half-Life 3, Half-Life 2 Episode 3. Any kind of traditional mouse and keyboard FPS at Valve is not taking place. And if it is, it's a very small group of people, and those individuals will not be seen as value generating by the higher-ups. Like I said, they're like, you know, I'm pretty sure Alex did not make them a ton of money, man. It's a nice little game, but I'm sure it didn't they would have been blowing it up, right? They would have been they would have said, oh, 2 million, 3 million seller or whatever. Maybe a million. Maybe it might have topped a million, but they haven't said squat about it. Luis, your thoughts on this, man, that these guys are going full Switch 2.0, Vita 2.0. They're like, don't talk to us about Half-Life right now.
I guess it makes sense if they're making a platform or console, whatever this thing is, that they make something that they try to show is like, this is what's capable with this thing. I don't know that they had to throw in the Half-Life 3 or, Half-Life 2 Episode 3 thing in there, but whatever. I mean, this is just like the longest standing meme or myth of the gaming industry, right? Like, I don't really care anymore, man. If it comes out, cool, but I'm not like holding my breath for it, right?
Now, the problem here is, and I hope it's not too, I'm not doing a spoiler. Valve themselves at the end of Alex, not spoilers, but they're like, there's gonna be a continuation. I won't say more than that, but
when it sells 2 million.
But Valve themselves are like, we got you though. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, F you too, Valve, F you too. Dalan, what are your thoughts on this before we move on?
My thoughts, Half-Life 3 confirmed. But additionally...
Just like GTA 6, man. Stop logging in.
No,
where's the camera? Stop logging into GTA 5. No, sorry, my bad, Dalan. Continue.
No, it's all right. I was also thinking about the fact that if Valve is going to make another game, I would far more prefer Portal. I would love to see a Portal 3. I don't want no Portal Bridge or Portal Construction or whatever it is. Just Portal 3. Portal 1 and 2 were excellent. Gladios was always awesome. And I don't really see the whole fad over Half-Life as it is. I understand that it had a bunch of what did you call there was a movie that we watched recently, and you even gave me the book. I don't want to say gamer. What was the name of that movie we watched, Carlos?
Oh, Games the Reference. Games the Reference.
Yeah, Games the Reference.
I think Ready Player One. Ready Player One. Ready Player Two.
I think that's what Half-Life is. It's like video game the reference.
No, it isn't.
And
dude.
I saw a bunch of references running through Half-Life.
How fucking dare you, dude? How fucking dare you say some crap like things have referenced Half-Life, right? And video games, like, let's just be honest here, they've all referenced Aliens. They all go back to Aliens. Game over, man. Game over. All right. But Half-Life was like pretty effing good, dude. So no, I push back on video game the reference, dude. You're wilding right now. It's a pretty original game. At this point, of course, it's old. We're looking at 98 for the original. 2004 for Half-Life 2, and then the episodes that came after it. It's a pretty decent like series and franchise. It was seminal at its time, and then Counter-Strike came out of it, so no, Dalan. No,
right,
talking about video game the reference.
I'd still rather play Portal either way.
No, you know what? I don't disagree with you on that, though. I don't know, and I know there's Michael Pachter. He's one of the guys I really like following about like video game sales and all that, and he talks about it's like, why don't they just make Portal and they don't even need to do all the story bits? They just give you more levels. Why isn't there like, every year, here's our 10 levels, here's our 10 Valve levels, right? To play single player, play with your buddy in co-op, right? But so I don't blame you on that, but don't be over here talking about video game the reference. That's Half-Life.
Wait, did Half-Life have co-op?
No, I don't think it did.
Dang,
no,
imagine if they made Half-Life with co-op.
It'd be kind of nice. I mean, we've played through the Halos. We'll talk about it a little down the line, Dalan. But yeah, I mean, it's not surprising. Like how, like with Luis, I believe you said it wasn't surprising. I don't think it's surprising. It's the fact that this is on the back burner. They're trying to get this Steam Deck, this Vita 2.0. That thing's humongous, though, dude. I mean, don't look at the specs too closely. That thing is huge. But they're working on that. They got other things to worry about. This one, Dalan, I guess it kind of appealed to you a little bit. The Xbox Series S was the most popular console during Black Friday. It apparently outsold the PlayStation 5, the Swoled, which is the Switch OLED model, official title, and even Big Bro, the Series X. This according to Business Insider. What do you think it is, Dalan? What do you think about the S? Is it just the fact that entry level to Xbox, the ecosystem, Game Pass, next gen, or are people really just buying this to emulate everything on this?
Not doing it to emulate things, but I know we've talked about it amongst our group a couple of times, but I just bought it. I didn't care about having the distro.
Oh, okay.
And yes, I needed an Xbox. I needed the newer console because eventually they're going to walk away from the older series or the Xbox Ones and stuff like that. And on top of that, this is the next step up from that. Additionally, there's the whole thing that eventually it's going to have more exclusive games for just the Series X or S, and I don't want to be left out of that if I'm going to have the Game Pass.
You're sold. You're sold, Dalan. You're bought into the Xbox ecosystem. That's what they want. They want to get you at an entry level. I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying this is what they're doing.
Hey, there's the whole fact that the PlayStation or just Sony, just in general, have been working very hard to push people away from their consoles. So I was looking at the Xbox and all the things that they're doing, and they are far more gamer friendly right now. Why not?
I'm guessing Tales of Arise demo, Dalan. That was the nail in the coffin. That you're like, I can't do this.
Don't make me throw a pen at your forehead.
You can't do it, dude. We're on the computer. We're like over the internet. He said a pen, blue.
So both of you guys,
a blue ballpoint pen.
A blue ballpoint pen, a big. Both of you guys bought an Xbox because of Game Pass, huh?
Well, I mean, I've always had the Xbox. I think. Yeah, I mean,
the new ones, I guess.
Yeah, in a way, yes. I had Game Pass.
Outriders, Carlos.
Yeah, that's what I was about to. I'm getting there. Give me
Don't say moment. In a way. That's why you got it.
But what I'm saying is I've been on Game Pass since before then. I think what got me to get an Xbox Series X is the fact was Outriders, like Luis just said. It was Outriders.
What I just said. Why are you saying no?
No, but I was already like in Game Pass before. I was already in the
Oh,
Xbox
I know, but I said you bought
before.
You bought an Xbox because you had Game Pass. That was my point. Like the newer ones, right?
Sure. I mean, yeah, you need that. The
Mm.
only thing I don't necessarily I feel you on your logic here, Dalan. Also, but Microsoft for the longest time has been saying like we're not leaving it behind. I think you would have been in trouble on the next one. That's when they start leaving the Xbox One S behind. But at this point, I'm sure you've noticed it. These things take a little while longer to load, right? We already loaded while you're still kind of loading on the S or the Xbox One
or the
S.
One. The loading part is definitely a small factor for me, but I hate that. What is it? The user interface when you're trying to load up games. I hate that user interface so much.
Wait. Have you plugged in the Series S? Because it's kind of like the same interface.
No. I'm talking about the X. Well, it might be even close to the same interface, but I'm sure they made some improvements.
It's the same exact thing, dude. It's the same exact like UI, dude. Everything.
No, I haven't even plugged it in yet.
Okay, so I'm sorry, Dalan. When you turn it on, you're like, "What is this?" Told you so.
But there's also the fact that it's got better graphics, and again, like I said, it's gonna move faster. Like you said, it's gonna just be better for the upcoming games that are going to be coming out, and I don't want to be left behind like that. Well, I don't care if it takes another generation for them to step away from the Xbox One, but at least I'll have it.
No, and I mean, mainly, I think it's a good entry level, like we were just talking about. And the fact that you're gonna see like load up Outriders because you were playing it on the One S, right? Outriders.
I was playing on my PS5.
Okay.
Don't worry about that.
Okay, but what I'm saying is like you'll notice it in games that you were playing on the One S. Now that you're on the S, even though you didn't want to splurge for that 4K deal, you don't have a 4K TV. Is that what it is, or?
I do have a 4K TV. I just didn't want to wait to try and find an available one, and I'm not going to stress myself out over trying to get one. And I was more for the PS5 as it was, so I don't need to have that super high resolution for the Xbox anyway.
Okay, reasonable. And it's and if you're on Game Pass, you don't really need discs. I don't think I've ever put in a disc into my Series X. I just want that option, right? But honestly, with Game Pass, you don't. Yeah, I doubt you'll ever miss it. We'll move on to this next one. This is kind of a little bit sort of Xbox related as well. Apparently, Reggie Fils-Aime, originally he bought an Xbox instead of a GameCube. I know, gasp. He also had a PS2, PlayStation 2 as well. And this is a quote from him. He said, my son, avid gamer, was the one saying we need to check out this Xbox thing and we need to go, and the driver was Halo, and that experience is what got the original Xbox into my house with that big old controller, and so that is my Xbox memory from the very beginning. Now this was prior to him joining Nintendo as executive vice president of sales and marketing in 2003, so I'm assuming when he joined Nintendo someone gladly gifted one or he picked one up, I'm assuming. But Least, what are your thoughts on this, man? It got blown up a little bit, but it's
yeah, it's a little smoky. It's a little Lee Gaspy, right? But it's kind of funny, I guess, ironic in a way that he had the two other consoles that weren't the company that he ended up working at. So I don't know. Maybe he just talked to his son about what do you want, and then turned around the sales for the Nintendo. So
yeah.
But yeah, that's
no, and he was pretty pivotal. I'm sick. Hey, remember I'm sick. All right, hey, Dalan, you pick on me anyways, but give me a little slack this time because I'm sick.
Hey, Dalan, you said Gladios.
Okay? You did say Gladios as well.
Wait,
but
we will never
forget
GLaDOS. What was that thing's name? It's just GLaDOS.
You're about to say Gladios again, but look, we can move past that.
Was there not an I in that name?
No.
Damn.
He really felt that.
I thought there was an I in that name.
No, Dalan, I'm sorry. And here you are. You're going to go petition Valve in Seattle or wherever they're at. Can you guys play me another Gladios game? And they're going to be like, get the fuck out of here with this. You don't even know this guy's name and you want another Portal.
Nigga, you made me drop my pixie.
Okay, Dalan. But yeah, as far as Fils-Aime thing, it's a little smoky until you go into the details of it, and it kind of does like it's people should know, right? Sometimes these CEOs come into these companies like Activision Blizzard or wherever they're coming from, or even Sony. I think one of the CEOs was like came from Pepsi or whatever. So sometimes these guys are not even really like gamers, right? To them, they see a business, right? They see a business that is like, I've run businesses before. This is just, I got to learn this new business, and they take it as a challenge or whatever. But Fils-Aime, man, he seems like a cool dude. So I think he's like, son, what do you want? He's like, here you go. Then goes to Nintendo and turns the ship around. Like I was saying before, I was rudely interrupted by Dalan. He was very pivotal to the Wii's success, man. He really blew that thing up. He was the one with "My body is ready." I continuously say "My body is ready" whenever possible, and that's a Reggie Fils-Aime line. He's like, "My body is ready," and he was definitely. And I think he even came on stage one time. He's like, "I'm about kicking ass and taking names" or something like that. I was like, "Okay, Duke Nukem, here we go." But yeah, it's a funny little side story to it. What's maybe not so funny, or maybe it is, I don't know. Cyberpunk 2077 has a very positive Steam user rating. It's a top Steam global seller right now because it's 50% off. But people were asking, or they just recently had a quarterly earnings call. And the CD Projekt Red CEO reiterates that they are not for sale. He says, quote, "We have been saying for years that we plan to remain independent and do not plan to become part of a larger entity," the CEO, Adam Kaczynski, stated. "We are also not looking for a strategic investor." Luis, your thoughts on this one here?
Yeah, I mean, I always kind of felt like they had it in them at some point. They were going to start turning that ship around as far as the game itself is concerned. But yeah, they just got put through the ringer as soon as that thing came out. They had, the game with the bombing, the leaks, the stealing of company property, selling on the black market, all that stuff.
I was gonna say, did people forget that they got hacked?
They got blackmail, dude. There's $1 million blackmail at some point, right? Or
somehow they're still like, people are starting to go, oh, you know what? This game without this being as buggy as it originally was is actually kind of good. So that's all I've personally been waiting for. Like as soon as they release a version, they're like, "We did it! It's please buy the game again." Then I'll check it out.
We did it.
Which they
we
keep
were able
kind
to
of
get back on the PlayStation market because they were taken down as well.
Dude, there's a lot of crap that happened, right? Like it's exactly what you just mentioned, Daly. Like we are taking you off the store. They don't take anything off that store, dude. My Pony Express 2 will never go off the PlayStation store, but they said Cyberpunk 2077 needs to be removed because you're telling people we're gonna refund them, and we don't do refunds. We do not do refunds around here. Not like that. Not in any way, actually, I think. But yeah, and I think they even said like, and over the long run, they plan on making it a good game, And I think the next update you're maybe waiting for, Lisa, they kind of even pushed that out a little further out, I believe, right? They're like, 2022. Give us till summer. Give us another 3 years. We'll give them another 3 years. Dalan, what you think about this whole Cyberpunk fiasco?
The fiasco was a fiasco. Just that. It's exactly that. It was a fiasco. But as for the rest of it, I figured that they would at some point salvage their game because they kept talking about how they were going to make updates. They definitely never got to the graphical quality that they promised us and showed in their trailers, but at least they were able to fix most of their core gameplay. I mean, obviously, yes, there's still bugs. Cars are still flying through walls and falling underground and stuff like that. But what large scale game like this doesn't have that type of bug? So I'm glad that they actually did the work and brought it back, much like No Man's Sky. Of course, the people in No Man's Sky straight up lied, but
well, I think they both kind of lied, if we're being honest. Well,
no, one lied and one was negligent. There's a difference.
Which one lied? Which one was negligent, Dalan?
No Man's Sky straight up lied, and Cyberpunk 2077 they focused so much on the PC version that they just let the
I think
and it affected everything.
I think it's the other way around, man. I think No Man's Sky. I remember when they showed it off. I think we've talked about it before, right? So real quick, but I remember when they showed it off and people were like, "This is gonna be amazing! I'm gonna go to space and see all these worlds." Like, you motherfuckers know like 10 people are making this game, right? Your fantasies will not be fulfilled. Like, you know,
but
and they didn't
dissuade.
dissuade. And they didn't
said,
dissuade
you're gonna
people.
See many aliens. You're gonna be able to play multiplayer and have major space battles out
yes,
there.
but they did say
none of that was there.
Dalen, but they
But
did
why
say
would people believe it?
exactly. Well, first of all, right? Yeah, why would people believe it? But you know, it's a procedurally generated game, so you know that's how it's gonna be. It's gonna be wacky like that. So and it's like 10, 12 people. They just came off of. I think they had just made like a really tiny game, right? I forget what it was, but to me, I remember looking like, what are people so hyped about? They understand like 10 people are working on it. One of the guys is sitting right next to me, and he's like, He's like, that's not a true story, but imagine though, because imagine. So, but that's
Luis is out here trying not to spit out his White Claw.
But that's yeah.
Claw.
So, you know, so other people, there might be a little bit of negligence. They just haven't announced it, right? But the PlayStation 5, the PC versions of Uncharted 4 may not include multiplayer. And the reason we're thinking this is because the upcoming The Legacy of Thieves collection was recently rated by the ESRB. And it says on there, you know, one of those little details, it says, quote, no interactive elements. I think they usually try to bring multiplayer forward, from what I understand, or I mean, is that it? At least do a lot of games do that? Sometimes they do, right? Sometimes games, when they bring them on, they don't necessarily like cut it out. But is this shocking? Is this surprising, or not?
It's
really?
not necessarily shocking. I mean, it would be nice, I guess, but it makes sense in a way that, like, for an older game, which I believe even those servers might be shut down. Oh no, for Uncharted 3, I think they shut them down not too long ago. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's just their plan from now on, because you know, they didn't launch The Last of Us 2 with multiplayer. They shut down The Last of Us multiplayer servers recently, and 4 might not be far behind. So maybe they're just not even thinking about working on it, wasting their time if it's not going to be along for much longer.
Which
all their sales are in story.
Well, yeah, and I was gonna say, no, it's fine, Dalen. But I was actually gonna kind of go off of that, Dalen. Is it's actually like a good thing that, you know, how some games are just like multiplayer focused. We're just Battlefield. We're talking to you, 2042. But it's good that the Uncharted series has been kind of known for campaign, because what do they re-release, right? If they're like, the multiplayer's not working, it's like, but these are heavily like campaign focused games in the first place. Yeah. Even though I know you got down with the multiplayer, right, Luis, and all that, but it's, you know, it's the campaign.
Yeah, it was fun.
You know?
It was a survival thing, right? No, that was Last of Us. That was a survival thing. Yeah. Uncharted was actually like a little arena, and everybody had like skins of the characters.
It's a little more actiony.
Yeah, they were more traditional team deathmatch, free for all, capture the flag-esque type of thing. Yeah.
Now, does it matter to you? Is it disappointing? I guess it's not disappointing to you, at least.
I mean, I probably won't buy it either way, so it doesn't really matter to me all that much. But I mean, it makes sense.
You know what they could do is sell multiplayer separately.
That's probably what they'll do with The Last of Us Part 2, honestly.
Give us $20, and then you can have access to this. So the next one on here, we got the SIFU producer. He says no difficulty option at launch. This is Pierre Tarno, executive producer. He said, quote, he hinted at difficulty sliders potentially going live in a post-launch update. It's not a guarantee, though. And this is from Screen Rant. I don't think they did the original interview, but I saw it through Screen Rant. But yeah, Dalen, we'll go with you first, man. What are your thoughts on this? Did you need a difficulty slider for this game, for SIFU?
No. If you're dying, skate better.
Oh, damn. That was a thought, huh, Dalen? Very succinct.
Yeah,
succinct. I like it. Luis, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think with a game like this specifically, a lot of the difficulty similar to I know you played this game. I played it in VR, but you played it, I think, on console. Chronos, you remember that game? The game where you age and die and age and die.
Yeah. I would read it on the site. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, a lot of the difficulty in sort of game design revolves around that. So creating a sort of additional difficulty level on top of that, I could see how complicated that could probably get. So it doesn't surprise me that it seems like they may not even do it at all, because it's just the amount of work that goes into balancing that sort of game depending on basically how many times you die is already difficult enough. So
yeah, especially with the type of game that it is, right? It's not like a straightforward like, hey, we're trying to make it what did we say recently? Frictionless as possible, friction-free gaming. It's like, no, you dying a lot. That's a lot of friction. It's a lot of friction we're creating for you. I think this might come down to a Returnal situation, honestly. Like if it's like that upsetting for players that they're like, I can't even play this crap like this. That's I think where it would come into play.
I can't compare Returnal to nothing. I don't even know why you bring that up.
And they're both games are what are these games? What do they call them? The ones I hate, roguelikes or whatever. These both games are like you're gonna die and you return. Dalan, how can I not compare it to Returnal? It's like it's a similar type of game. Yeah,
but the thing that pissed people off about Returnal was the 2, 3, 4 hour run.
Yeah, I mean that's what I was gonna say, Dalan. That's what I was gonna say though. There are different types of games. The only thing I'm saying is that it's based on a reaction to it. I'm not saying that it's the same thing because I doubt SIFU's gonna be like you're going for 3-4 hours. Dude. It looks like they're kind of cool, maybe 1 or 2 levels, right? And then you're just kind of moving on. It looks a little more frictionless or frictionless than Returnal. So let's hope for that. And then we'll see if people come out and clamor for that.
I'm ready for SIFU.
I'm kind of, I mean, a Solver dev, we played that, Dalan. They need to not say that they made that game. They need to stop saying that because they're getting me less hyped every time. I'm like, this is from the Absolver team. Don't say that. Don't say that.
Don't step away from that game. Just put it in a closet, walk away from it.
Look, this one could have done with we probably could have pushed this up a little bit more to keep it Microsoft, but Microsoft did publish a 1999 letter from when they failed to buy Nintendo. And they actually put the full letter up. I think there's some redactions, like they blacked out maybe some addresses or something like that, right? But on their Microsoft's 20th anniversary memorial website, and Kevin Backus, who was a former Microsoft director of third-party relations for Xbox, he said, quote, Steve Ballmer, Microsoft's former CEO, made us go meet with Nintendo to see if they would consider being acquired. They just laughed their asses off. Like, imagine an hour of somebody just laughing at you. That was kind of how that meeting went. Luis, what are your thoughts on Microsoft over here? Like, we're the new kid on the block. Can we buy you, Nintendo? Back in this is like 99, 99, right? This is 99.
Yeah, they were on me about to turn that corner, right? So that's just funny, and I guess it's even funnier for them to just kind of be poking fun at themselves. I'm like, hey, it's our 20th anniversary. By the way, here's that one time we got laughed at for an hour by Nintendo.
and it wasn't just Nintendo though. I think they went like around like the block, like they tried Sega, they tried all these other ones, Konami.
Sega should have taken them up on it.
They really should have, because we'll say no. They're still they got Yakuza, they got some good stuff going for them. But other than that, I think it shows that they kind of have a sense of humor, right? Like I think Sony's always been kind of the cool kid, I guess. Nintendo's very like stoic. They go back 100 years, right? Like the company itself of Nintendo goes back 100 years. So it's very like they take themselves very seriously at Microsoft. Like, you know what? Look, we tried. We fucking tried out here. And Nintendo said, what? No, get away from us. But so it's pretty fun that if you guys want to see, I think they have other documents and other stuff like the history of Xbox over the last 20 plus years. This next one is because we haven't really talked about it on a podcast, Dalan, but this is kind of like to open up about it because we did just see this. But apparently the Resident Evil movie, the one that just came out, Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City, almost included a scene where Chris Redfield punches a boulder a la Resident Evil 5. Director Johannes Roberts told IGN, he said, quote, Robbie, who's the actor that plays Chris Redfield, has such a great sense of humor, and it was just like, oh man, we got to somehow put this in. We never found out how to make it work, and all I can hope is that somewhere in this new envisioning of the Resident Evil world, that it all leads to this big, our chapter 10, whatever it is of Resident Evil, is Robbie punching his way through a boulder. That's how we end our epic Resident Evil world. Dude, you guys play Resident Evil 5, right? It was so stupid, dude. You're punching a boulder. Quick time event. Punch through this boulder right now. And weren't you like, we were like in lava, right? Weren't we in lava, Dalan?
You were in the middle of a volcano.
Yes, we're in the middle of a volcano. Punch this boulder.
I mean, that's why he's punching the boulder. He's feeling the lava rising and he's trying to get out. but
so stupid,
punching
dude.
a boulder.
So fucking stupid. Look, this
Hey.
is.
If there's a time to punch through a boulder, maybe lava would make a human be capable of
He
doing that.
punched
You know?
that thing right off a cliff.
Look, the thing is with Resident Evil 5, man, is when they actually did, it was 360 era, right? Online co-op was like at a full, like.
I played that demo so many times.
Dude, the online co-op was like, that's, every game was doing it. So that's why I think we were able to overlook at the time how, like, not great Resident Evil 5 was, because it was called like the first co-op in a Resident Evil game. And you know, so.
I gotta say it was fairly action packed and it still kept some of its horror elements, but I'll tell you right now, they needed to figure out their AI situation, because Sheva was wasting every single bullet you had and using every single healing item you had if you did not have somebody to play with.
Yeah, it was an interesting. I like how they're like, you know what, this Resident Evil 5 is a little wacky. We just punched the boulder. Let's make it wackier for 6. Before they're like, you know what, let's go back to the drawing board. What are we doing here?
They
what
went
are we doing
over
here?
the top for 6.
They weren't zombies.
I'm glad that they went to the drawing board though, man. Because 7 and Village, they're kind of nice, dude. Even the remakes are pretty nice. But
they started getting awards again.
Besides all that,
that's another one I got. Village is on its way too.
That's pretty nice, too. You're going to have fun with that one. And they're not too long, you know? Like, they're not very long games. They're long because they're a little spooky, you know? And you're kind of finding your way around. But other than that...
said, you should definitely play 7 first.
Nah. I'll watch a video or something.
It's kind of a follow-up. But that's fine. Look,
I know. I'll watch a recap, just like you did with The World Ends With You. I'll find an anime or something. Just watch it.
I tried, though. See, you're not even trying to go through 7.
Why would I?
See,
because it's a good game. That's why. But
I played it on Stadia.
Is Stadia where you couldn't really see where you were going because it was pixelated?
Yeah, that was.
I'm sorry, you were actively upsetting Carlos. Right?
Oh man. No,
I can hear it in his voice.
The World Ends With You though. If I had known there was an anime, actually no, I think I would have played a little bit. I just wouldn't have played as far because I was like actively frustrated with that game.
The
I was
time
like,
loop.
what do you mean? There's an anime? I'm done with this. I can put this down now. Dalan, anything else though on this? Like as far as you didn't really like the movie, huh? The movie itself, or if you have more thoughts on the boulder.
I have more thoughts on the boulder. It is a rock. It was in lava. It was in a volcano. It was part 5.
All right. Yeah, but the movie itself was okay though. I didn't mind it too much. It wasn't great.
If only there was a podcast we could talk about it in.
Hey, let's do it.
All right, Dan. We'll see. We'll talk about it then. All right, Dan. Don't be teasing the folks, man. We only got a few subscribers over here. You're gonna make them leave because they're like, Dan keeps talking about a movie podcast. Where is it?
No, we're going to do it. Let's do it.
So next thing on here, speaking of The World Ends With You, Neo, The World Ends With You underperformed its expectations. Square Enix said, quote, while Neo, The World Ends With You was well received by users, it has underperformed our initial expectations. I don't know if you guys played it, but I did play through it. So that's the new one, the follow-up. I like what they did. I did like the graphics and the kind of the budgetary constraints of how they did like the cutscenes and stuff. I didn't mind it too much. The gameplay was cool. So, but it's a wacky game, man. It's a wacky game. I don't know who they're trying to sell it to, so I'm not too surprised that they underperform. Your thoughts, Dalan?
I'm also not surprised that they underperformed because after The World Ends With You, just after it came out, I believe it blew up for a very short period. But did it was it highly successful? Because I barely even knew about it even after you told me that it existed.
And look, and I'm not even an RPG like super fan like you are, so you should have Square Enix and all this stuff, right?
I kept seeing pictures of it and stuff like that, but it was not on my radar to even attempt.
I think it was during that time when maybe Kingdom Hearts 2 or something like that kind of had like a similar art style. The DS was hot, man. So you're thinking like the DS is like, I think probably they're still their best selling like console everything.
It was probably overshadowed by Kingdom Hearts 365 in 2 days.
Or Sleepover by Nights or some crap like that, or whatever.
That was PSP. Birth by Sleep,
or 382.5D or whatever those were called. But no, I think what it was is I think they kind of overshot with this one because, like we were just saying, I think DS is like their biggest selling everything, console, hardware, portable, whatever for Nintendo. Dude, I mean, you just shot crap that like looked like it might work. I'm sure this thing sold 2 million copies when you have 140 million DSs out there, you know? So
Yeah.
you just can't compare it. I think they might have like overshot with this one. But like I said, I dug it. If you guys like the original one, just watch the anime. But once you watch the anime, it's a cool game for what I played. I kind of did move away from it too, but I like the design, the battles, and all that stuff. Anything else, Dan, before we move on?
Nah, that was it.
This next one, I know you're kind of excited about this one, Luis, maybe. Epic Games acquires Harmonix. So they did do an announcement. They said the Epic Games made an announcement. They said Harmonix has a track record of creating fun and engaging music experiences designed for everyone to enjoy. As we work to build the metaverse, this expertise is needed to reimagine how music is experienced, created, and distributed. I don't know if that's a dig to Facebook or people really like metaverse, so it might not even be to Facebook. Luis, what are your thoughts, man? I know. Well, I don't know if Harmonix specifically, but you like the music games and stuff like that, right? What does this mean? Does this mean anything?
Dude, I honestly didn't know Harmonix was still around to be bought out. So good for them, right? Good for
they're
Harmonix.
still open.
Yeah.
Kind of like CD Projekt Red. I thought they were going under. All right.
Oh no, they just got their source code leaked and bought on the black market or whatever.
They just got their stuff ransom, man. Come on, so they showed off the best version, and it wasn't it, you know.
Hey, Harmonix just went through a massive lawsuit and lost most of the rights to all their music, but that's fine too.
Well, now they have Epic behind them.
Yeah, now they got the Moneybags, Fortnite Moneybags Epic Games to help them out.
Yeah, so this to me screams that Epic is going to, which they have been doing, right? Music-based experiences in Fortnite of all places. But
which was weird.
Dude, they looked. If you ever saw any of them, they actually were pretty awesome. They looked amazing. So this just makes sense. I think this just means that they're going to move away from specifically putting these in Fortnite and, like they said, building some sort of metaverse platform within their launcher, and probably starting off with concerts, which kind of makes sense as well. So,
hey man, I just want another rock band. That's all I want.
Could it be?
Not gonna happen anymore.
Now, sorry for that. Had to cough for a little bit.
Dying out there.
I am dying a little bit. Like I said at the top of the show. Do you think part of this is like the technology, Luis? Like just the fact that at some point they're like, you know what, we could put the technology of how the notes work and all that stuff into Fortnite or into these different properties that they have? Or do you think they're actually like, let's release another rock band? Let's,
Yeah, I don't think it's that. I think it is going to be a social platform where they see live events or concerts or something like that. I don't necessarily think that them acquiring Harmonix is them making some sort of music-based rhythm game. I think it's just because Harmonix has experience with creating things that react to music. I mean, aside from also doing the player input, right? But like the creating the setup of like, while you're playing, there's a crowd, there's a band, they're reacting to the song. So I think it's more that sort of thinking versus
and they don't necessarily need to make Rock Band or whatever it is to have it look like Rock Band, right? Like they're like, well, we don't have to worry about getting sued because we own them, so we make it look however the fuck we want. It's gonna look like Rock Band or it's gonna look like whatever. Now,
I don't think so.
Now, Luis, I don't know how much you want to speak on this, but kind of what we're talking about, like the last thing you worked on is sort of a concert type experience, live space thing. Does this compete with that?
It's in the metaverse space, yeah.
I don't know if you could speak on that. I guess
I can. Yeah, it's in the metaverse space, but it's
released,
similar to what it's at. Yeah, it's out, but it's similar to what I think they're going to be doing. At least our first iteration of the app. We're kind of in the phase now where we're going to build on top of that and create a more social experience, because the first one was just watching a concert. But metaverse is kind of hot right now. Obviously, Epic Games is getting into it. Facebook is changing their name, Meta, so it's kind of a hot sort of space right now, and it's a race to see who can be the go-to platform.
What's
we'll see.
What's the name of the app so people can make sure to check it out, please, and then we'll go.
Stageverse, yeah. So you can check us out at stageverse.com. We're on iOS, Android, and Quest 2 or Quest 1 and 2.
There you go. Dalan, any thoughts on this? Epic Games acquires Harmonix, or are you good?
Don't let them steal your ideas, Luis. And I really do hope
Not mine.
Okay, David. Okay. It's a collective, David. It's a
I
collective.
really do hope they end up, of course, eventually moving away from Fortnite, like you had said, because them working with Fortnite, I could only imagine that Rock Band characters would show up in Fortnite as skins. But I just would love to see at least a game like Rock Band coming out now that they actually have more resources to be able to rebuild their name. So I'm happy to know that they're still alive out there.
They're doing their thing. Speaking of kind of like the metaverse too, I know recently, this was from Monday, I saw this kind of circulating, is that the Second Life founder, Philip Rosedale, he was talking to Axios. Steven Totillo over at Axios did an interview for him, and they asked him about Facebook/Meta's metaverse project, and well, if that will succeed. And he said, well, I hope they don't. Also, it's not for everybody, and maybe it's never for everybody. So this is a guy that worked on Second Life. I didn't follow it too closely. I don't know if you did, Lise, but it was kind of one of those things where they are building a metaverse and you do different activities, you do different things. It's kind of like with a PlayStation, right? That they did a PlayStation Home. Sometimes these things are like, they're never gonna work, or sometimes like they were there too early too, right? Like it's someone just has to make them work. But what are your thoughts on this? Because this is actually a guy that's like was making an earnest effort of like, I want to make this happen, and he's like, I hope it doesn't work for Facebook. This is
Yeah, I think that comment to me screams more. I hope it doesn't work because I kind of.
Sour
he
grapes,
didn't fail.
right?
Second
Sour
Life was pretty huge for when it came out. But yeah, it could be more just that sour. That just some huge company comes in and goes, oh, we're gonna try it out. So, but yeah, Facebook when they came in, they basically announced what their plans are, but none of this exists yet. So they just said this is our vision. We want to tell you what our vision is. This is why we're changing the name of our company. Hope you guys stick around. We're gonna try this out. So, if anyone can do it, I think Facebook would probably be as much hate as they get for valid reasons, I suppose. I feel like this is where their company's moving towards, and they're gonna stick to it. So I don't think it'll fail. But
yeah,
we'll see.
it's one of those things that where you look at these companies that they've made all these different moves. It's like in hindsight, it's like, well, no duh. It's like, yeah, but it wasn't no duh when Facebook was like, we're gonna buy Oculus. We're like, huh? They're gonna buy Oculus. They're gonna be
right.
So this was part of it, right? That's like they're setting up the dominoes, I guess, or whatever you want to call it, right? They're setting up this
They've
house.
been talking about this for years. I don't know why people are so surprised by like this news, because they've been trending that way and saying it specifically. So yeah, the writing's been on the wall, but people for whatever reason are kind of surprised about it now. So.
And it starts to either piece together and it doesn't, right? Like sometimes things just don't work. I'm sure even Facebook, different like messengers or whatever they've tried out just don't work, right? Like, or whatever it is, but they have all the money. Like what we were just talking about, Epic Games. If anyone's gonna like make it work, it's them, or they have like the highest chance probability of making something like that work. So we'll see. I think it's a little bit sour grapes, but yeah, if you guys want, go to Axios. They do great work, man. Axios, I like that there's all these publications. We don't have to just rely on Kotaku and all them that are
Clear your throat.
and IGN and stuff like that. Which look, they're great. They're great, but sometimes they're not journalists with some of the stuff they do. This next one for you.
You brought back some terrible memories, Carl.
Hey, how about this? We got comms. We don't necessarily do journalist stuff. We try to, but I won't even call us journalists. So it's not a slight against anybody.
Paris, I'm so sorry.
Anyway. Moving on.
I got into some beef with Paris.
I think we're cool now. I don't know. Who knows? But this was for you, Dalan. So apparently there's a big PlayStation remake that could be coming, and it could be Chrono Cross. Now, I was trying to make sense of this crap. Maybe you can help me out a little bit, Dalan. I was like, what the hell? Okay, why? So the best I can make out is there's a mobile game called Another Eden, which is written, directed by Masato Kato, who wrote Chrono Trigger and Chrono Cross. Another Eden is supposed to have a crossover event with Chrono Cross or Chrono Trigger, which you would assume needs Square Enix's blessing. So I guess the question is coincidence? Can you help me, Dalan? Is there more to this? Because this feels a little flimsy, but it also feels like we could probably see a remake.
No, I think it's a fact that the games are just so old that the guy who actually wrote the 2 games moved on to other things, and he probably doesn't have the same notoriety that he did when he was making Chrono Cross and Chrono Trigger, because obviously Chrono Trigger is considered one of the best RPGs ever. And Chrono Cross, to me, is not considered one of the best RPGs ever. It's
That was
quite
pretty hot, though.
for me.
It's pretty hot, though.
I
love
that
what I
game
played of
with
that
a
game.
passion. I hate the percentages. I hate the graphics that came out of it. I hated the small, thin letterings that came with it, kind of like the remaster of Final Fantasy 1. Everything. It was so poorly put together, but that has nothing to do with his writing. That has to do with the game design. So Chrono Cross, they needed to fix some stuff. Chrono Trigger was an excellent game. But after those 2 games, I don't even know what he's been up to. So Another Eden is a great thing to hear that he's been up to. And the fact that he wants to get back in the game, he's like, hey, let me go back to these games that made me famous. And everybody's like, oh, snaps. As soon as you dip your toe in the pool, you know you're going to go for a swim. That's what he's up to.
Okay, Dalan. Okay, I like that. Now, tirade over, right? Chrono Trigger, I don't know what it got in IGN, but Chrono Cross got a 10, 10, and a 9.5. These guys were stingy with those 10s, Dalan. So that Chrono Cross, and I played it. It was through an emulator, but don't tell anybody.
Don't tell anybody.
I never had a PlayStation 1. I never had a PlayStation 1. I never had one as a child, and I never had it. Chrono Cross, I'm kind of hyped for it. I do understand, though. It's like, why wouldn't you bring Chrono Trigger back? The only thing I can assume is the fact that Chrono Cross is already kind of 3E-ified, if you will. Like, they have the models, they kind of already have an idea of like, okay, this is what they were going for, whereas Chrono Trigger would take like a massive effort to like get it going. It's the reason why
it doesn't matter which one, you could give it the Final Fantasy 7, Resident Evil,
but that's what I was about to say.
Build it from the ground up.
But that's what I was about to say. Those, in a way, built from the ground up, but not so, because Final Fantasy 7 still had 3D models to work off of. Resident Evil 2 and 3, they still had sort of a 3D, like a map or to work off of, right? So it wasn't completely where you're like Chrono Trigger. And I already know, Dalan, you don't even got to tell me. If they ever 3D-ify Chrono Trigger, like, why'd they make the frog look like that? It looks stupid. That's not what I wanted to look at. But Chrono Cross, you already kind of have an idea of what you can expect. They're just gonna look prettier, right? But at the same time, it's kind of like, well, these are 2 great games. You know, you start with Chrono Trigger, right? So I don't know.
Hey, I'll tell you what. Have the people who made what was the name of that Dragon Quest. The people that did Dragon Quest, because it's the same art style, same real creators in this particular case. Have them go and remake Chrono Trigger. Have them remake Chrono Cross and have them go from 3D models to their anime models. That would actually be a huge change for them.
Now, are you referencing? There was one of the Dragon Quest. I don't know if it was 9 or 10 or one of them, where you could actually play the game in 3D, and if you press select or something, it put you into 2D mode or something like that.
No, I was talking about the fact that most of the Dragon Quest games, or if not all of them, are made by or have the same art style as Dragon Ball. They all have the same art style as Dragon Ball. Yeah. Chrono Trigger was also the same art style as Dragon Ball, but then when they hit Chrono Cross, they switched it up.
Yeah. They made it more appealing for me, because Chrono Trigger, I mean...
All right, that's fine.
I mean, the frog guy, Dalan, and then you do warp tunnels or something like that.
Hey, but the frog guy, basically, it was the Dragon Ball universe. If Cell showed up somewhere in that universe and they went all Dragon Ball, I don't even remember the name of the new game. I'm going to call it Dragon Ball Survive. If they went all Dragon Ball Survive on Chrono Trigger, nobody would even know the wiser.
Dragon Ball Survive, Dalan. That's what we're doing. You're supposed to be the lore master around here.
Believe.
And you're over here making stuff up.
What's the name of the new Dragon Ball game that's coming out?
I don't know, Dalan, but I don't know. But
that's your job.
That's your job to keep track of the lore, Dalan. So what we've been playing. So we'll leave Dalan at that one.
I'm gonna look it up now that you said.
So we've been we'll move on to what you've been playing. Luis, what you been up to, man? What you been playing this last week?
So I went back to Ghost of Tsushima to do the Iki Island expansion. I don't believe you needed to finish the game to play it, but I'm glad that I did.
Okay.
I think you just needed to reach like a certain point because there's a set amount of like abilities and stuff you need to have to play Iki Island. So I think that's the reason why. But yeah, you get in there, you get a new set of abilities. Not that many, it's like two or something. And the story's pretty nice. It was a pretty nice little add-on to the story. Not necessarily like if you don't do it, you're not really missing out on like a huge chunk of like the main story, but it's pretty nice. It kind of goes into
Does
his
it
past,
it
like you
feels
said.
like side story? Or it feels like kind of one of the bigger
It gives
campaign
him a bit
ish.
more of a sort of background story that
Okay.
like fills in his character a little more. So yeah, I think it's definitely worth it, and it's pretty nice and short. I think you could finish it in like a day if you really wanted to,
Okay.
but I played it over the course of like 2 days. And then, so I finished the story. I'm gonna go in there and just clean up the island, do all the little side stuff, and
Platinum the game.
I already did that.
Oh,
But
You
okay.
already did it, Dylan.
yeah,
There's extra.
but in tandem, I was going through and doing a level or two here and there on Sackboy: A Big Adventure. A little late to the party on that one, but yeah, it's a nice little fun game. Not necessarily like must play or anything, but it's a pretty nice little sort of 3D platformer. So
Those
I'm
physics are a
digging it
little
so far.
wacky, dude. The little physics, you got to get used to those, man. And
Yeah, yeah.
did you have problems with the perception a little bit as well as some of the levels? I remember when I was playing, I was like, "Where's the jump? Where do I land?" Like, like what?
It
Yeah,
takes some
uh,
getting used to for sure, but it didn't take me that long.
yeah,
So, yeah, I mean, if you're going into it thinking like Mario, like I'm gonna jump and I'm gonna go this far, stay in the air for this long, that's not
yeah.
gonna do that.
And like Mario, you're talking about, and when you say
The look on
Mario,
his face, it's not
and,
gonna
and,
do
and
that.
when you say Mario, you're talking about Mario, right? Or how do they say? How do you say Mario?
Mario?
Mario. You're talking about Mario.
Mario.
Um,
Why don't they say Wario?
Wario. I don't know. You said you played a few levels. I kind of want to hear your feedback once you get a little deeper into it, because
Yeah,
I think
I'm about to finish the first world,
okay.
so I'm not that far
Because I
into it.
think we got maybe 3 or 4 worlds in, and I remember like the deeper you get, I think it's just whatever the art style is of that game, where you're playing through it and some things like little details get lost, or maybe it's a little too busy. I don't know if that's what it is, but I remember missing jumps sometimes where I was like, where's the jump? Where am I taking my jetpack now? So,
Mm.
but for the most part, it's a nice little little Mario ish little
Mm-hmm.
platformer, 3D platformer type of game. So I'm glad you're having fun with it. Maybe we could play co-op at some point.
Maybe.
Dalan, what you been playing, man?
I have been playing Tales of Arise. Now, I know we spoke about it on previous occasions, and I'm pretty sure I'm very deep into the game, but I'm going to actually mention a thing that I always forget about the Tales games until I get to the end of the game, or at least close to the end of the game. For all these Tales games, for most RPGs, you just go on a quest and you complete your little quest, whatever it might be. You've reached your goal and you've succeeded, and you stopped whatever the major thing was that was going to happen. In any Tales game, you are trying to solve all the world's problems, and I literally mean all the world's problems.
Okay, hunger, homelessness, climate change.
Hey,
World peace.
racism, the master disaster that's happening. Everybody's houses are getting destroyed. You're trying to figure out how they're gonna relive
They
again.
even got the
It's-
California fires on there, Dalan.
Hey man, they got all types of stuff happening in these things. All right. So I'm always a little surprised when I get that deep into the story. I'm like, man, I'm about to solve world hunger in this case. Like nobody's gonna be homeless. Everybody's gonna be loving each other and living a peaceful,
Okay.
solace life.
Okay, Dalan. Okay.
Dalen's on the case. Nobody's gonna be homeless.
Dalan's
No
on the
one's
case.
gonna be homeless.
It will be
Everybody's
solved.
got a
It
place
will be
to go.
eradicated forever. Okay,
And
Dalan.
it's a super happy ending where the world is one. All right, so I'm getting close to that. Hopefully, I beat it soon. I know I'm near the end, but again, it's an enjoyable game, and I'm super upset that it's not anywhere in the Game of the Years for the Game Awards, or just in the Game Awards at all.
This is your hill to die on, Dalan, because we got Deo. He's talking about Forza over here. You need to defend Tales of Arise. Then this is your job. Don't be blaming other people. How much do you like it truly? How much do you really like it?
Hey man, I can't. It's very rare that I
We're
actually
sponsored
go
by
through
Truly
a
this
full
time,
Tales game. Oh, good job. It's very rare that I go through a full Tales game in a couple of months.
All right, whatever.
I
that
mean,
means.
all the other Tales games, it took me like a year to beat or something like that. This one, definitely not that. This one was
you're
hard
saying-
enough that it kept me coming back. What?
Okay. What'd you say?
Yeah, I was saying, is it a pro or a con? But it's a good thing then.
Yeah, it's a good thing. It makes me want to play it. It actually makes me want to beat it. I don't get tired of the story. All right. The other ones, there are those moments. I know you even had this in Final Fantasy VII, Carlos. There are those down moments where you're like, man, do I even feel like moving on? I'm going to put this controller down. I'm going to walk away and come back later.
Hey, Final Fantasy VII, though, that kept me. I had to keep going back, dude. I was like, when can I get home to play more Final Fantasy VII Remake?
All right.
Dan, we
we'll
also, we've been playing a couple things together the last few days. We've even had our buddies, Samir and Jonathan. We'll give them a shout out. They joined us for the last couple nights, just halfway through a campaign. But what we've been playing, Dan? We've been playing through the Halos, right? We've been getting far, dude. We're
as many as we can.
Yeah, so give us a rundown, Dan. How many Halos have we run through in the last couple of weeks?
Let's see. We finished Halo 1 in the last couple of weeks. We went through Halo 2 in like 2 sessions. And then we went through all of Halo 3 basically in 1 session. I don't know. Maybe it was 2 sessions.
I think Jonathan, Samir joined us at the end of that. Where you have
Jonathan and Samir, we were like halfway through. We were almost near the end and they hopped in.
So, hey, this is my favorite part of that, Luis. Did you play Halo 3? Oh, you haven't played the Halos, huh? But
not a single one.
There's a part in Halo 3 at the very end where like you're just kind of driving around. But the thing is you have to go in teams of 2. And Dalan, the one we're trying to catch up to Halo, is not in that final scene because it's just me and Samir just going wild. They're like, we're going to finish it for you, Dalan. Don't you worry. We're going to get it.
The platforms were falling. Carlos left me behind. We died at some point. We reloaded. Carlos did not wait. He took off and all the platforms started falling again. We did not have enough time to get in the car. And, we got to see the ending.
That calls fun, man. That calls fun. And we figured out that we could do it on Legendary if we do 4-player co-op. Legendary is very doable. Very doable.
And then ODST, terrible game, but we went through it anyway.
It's a nice game. I look, honestly, it's I like it, dude. The story,
man, I actually played the whole game with you, and I'm still like, I did not like this Halo.
it was all right. It's a detective. How I was telling them, Lise, it's a detective kind of dark, like neo-noir type of story. You kind of have to be in it for that.
I remember hearing that though. I remember when it came out. I never played it, but I remember that being the worst one of all of them, from what I remember.
And see, Carlos was out there saying, "No, this was like the best one." I was like, "No, Carlos."
No, I don't know about that. Story wise, it had a good little story to it, man. And like, tell the people why you don't even know the story of it, Dalan. What did Samir keep doing to us?
As soon as Samir hopped in, like we were halfway through the game, we were enjoying our stories.
I thought we weren't, but here you go, Lise. We were enjoying it, but we weren't. Okay, Dalan. But what was he doing?
All right, so I was involved in the story at this point, and we wanted to see the cutscenes. I mean, I'm playing through the game. I want to see the story if I'm gonna play through the game.
I feel like you were.
Hey man, we already had the issue of whether or not we were even gonna continue the game, and I was like, "We've gone this far, we might as well finish our run." But then Samir showed up, and he accidentally kept skipping the cutscenes every time they popped up. So I have no idea what.
Dude, he skipped like 2 or 3 cutscenes, and at some point we had to tell him, Samir, stop skipping the cutscenes. Dude, he's like, "All right." I'm like, "Well, stop skipping them."
He was falling asleep. And we got to the end of the game, and Samir was with us, but he wasn't really with us.
You can tell people he was asleep. He was snoring the night away.
He passed out.
So
we did the whole level with him just standing there.
So where are we now, Dalan? Where are we currently? What game?
Now we're doing Halo Reach because we've decided we're going to do 4 and Reach backwards because I think 4 came out first, right?
No, Reach came out first, then 4.
Oh, it was Reach, then 4? Okay, well,
we're doing it in chronologically released order. Because to be honest, Dalan, I didn't want to break it to you this way, but I'll do it here live, on the air, on the WAC. Halo Reach should have been first before all of them.
Yeah, it was
Story-wise, it should have been before all of them. But gameplay-wise, dude, those graphics look kind of nice. They still kind of hold up for Halo Reach. For everything else, it kind of looked kind of crappy. 1, 2, up to ODST.
They stepped up their games with they stepped up their game with story in Halo Reach for sure. It's super cinematic compared to the other ones. There's the fact that they have those little things lying around so you could actually
They
now
finally
sprint.
gave you sprints. That's what you were waiting for.
They gave you an extra overshield ability. You can clone yourself. You get a jetpack. I know you were happy when you saw that jetpack, Carlos.
I wanted it.
But now now we're running through Reach. Then we're gonna play 4 and 5, and hopefully we'll be able to hit Infinite and co-op that.
We should be ready, man, but we gotta hustle because we got a deadline. Deadline. Is that a deadline looming? It felt wrong, but I knew it was right. It just felt wrong. But yeah, we have a deadline looming. So we have a deadline looming. And if you forgot about this, Dan, but for a Halo game that's all about space, we finally flew in space in Halo Reach. We finally flew in space.
Hey,
Why did it take them that long?
At some point, pushed a bomb into a Covenant ship, so I'm pretty sure we flew in space, even if it was just in cutscene format.
Dude, Halo is nice, right? Halo's nice, but I do like seeing the progress, right? Like the kind of back to back, we're going from game to game. It's like, oh damn, they did this, they did that. They don't do dual wield now that you can sprint, and yeah, I think they've been pretty good, right? Gameplay wise, they've been progressing.
Yes,
story wise. Story wise, everyone is going to have their own opinion about it.
But I see you finally stepped up your game, Carlos. What else have you been playing?
Oh, all of a sudden. Yeah. So besides that, we've been playing through Halos, having a blast playing those. It helps that we had so many days off too, right? To be able to kind of make the time to play them. Yeah, Thanksgiving, it has so many days off and all that. But yeah, I finally got into Metroid Dread, and spoiler alert, but Game of the year, dude. Like, game of the year. It's so good. It's so good. Like, I'm glad I went through all the games. I know Luis, we talked about, it's like, I don't know why you need to go through all these games. Like, oh, I needed to. Because now I'm like, I see the culmination of all this stuff. And the Metroid Dread, I think I was talking to you about it, Dalan, but the Metroid Fusion stuff, they actually implemented into this. And then Samus Returns, like, the gameplay started there. Like, if you guys, actually what was reminding me of like how Metroid Dread plays out a little bit is if you guys remember when Mario 3D Land came out on the 3DS first, it was like the concept for what was actually like a bigger form of that, and that's how I feel that Samus Returns was the Mario Land to like Metroid Dread's like 3D world, where it's like they just kind of blew it up. It's more cinematic, the gameplay is nice. I still feel like you kind of do hand gymnastics with how many buttons you have to press at a time. That is one of the things that I miss a little bit about Metroid Fusion, is that they did it with a Game Boy Advance buttons. Remember, this thing had the 2 face buttons and the 2 shoulder buttons. And
man, I had to figure that shit out. Man, those buttons were so hard for me.
And they figured it out. No, but they figured it out. They simplified the controls for good ways and bad ways. And I think Metroid Fusion did a lot of hand holding, which Metroid Dread does a little bit of it, but not really, man. You are gonna be lost in this game. You will be like, where is the crevice that I need to find right now? So definitely use those markers. I'm putting markers all over the place, Dalan. I don't know if you know, but those markers are key, man. I go somewhere, I'm like, dead end. Let me put a marker to not return to this crap unless I level up.
I gotta admit, it's got a pretty good map, so you don't end up doing that too much anyway. Yeah. I haven't had to use a marker once, and I got pretty far in that game, and I've been able to go back for stuff.
Yeah. Well, then that's the whole idea of, right? Like, if you're not into the idea of that, okay, you're gonna hit dead ends. Like, you're gonna hit dead ends and you're looking for that one path forward, you're gonna be a little frustrated with it, which honestly, to me, a couple times I'm like, oh damn, what happens here? The Emmys are they sort of remind me of that like Metroid 2 like corruption stuff, where it's like, why do you guys have to give me malaria? Like, why? Like the little Emmys type of thing. But at some point it was like, that's like the stressful part of the game. You have to figure it out, and once you figure it out, kind of how to progress from there. The bosses are kind of incredible, and the fact that they're doing it on a 2D plane, but it's still like, yeah, we're in a 2D plane, but it feels 3D. Like, it feels like I'm in this world, like a 3D world. And it helps that when they go to cutscenes, it's fully 3D rendered, it's voiced, and all this cool stuff. So I don't know, man. It's a front runner. It's a front runner for me, definitely. I'm playing it, and it's like I still wish it was Metroid Prime, of course, but I'll take this one.
I'll admit, I played a lot of games this year, so I think I'm gonna have to go back to my list and really remember the games that I played.
Yeah.
Because there are some that shined and some that were under the radar, and I'm going to be like, ooh, I forgot I played that game, and that game was damn good.
Oh, trust me, Dan, to truly battle you, I will, before we get to our deliberations, I'm going to try to get through Kenna to truly see. Here we go. Sponsored by Truly.
Truly.
Punch flavor. But I would definitely have to do that, man. I definitely have to go through Kenna so we can fully go into details about that. But yeah, that's for me, Metroid Red, man. It's so good, so good. And so we'll reach the end of the show here, but I'll give you one, Dalan. I hope you're able to get yourself a Spider-Man No Way Home ticket, because some of these tickets are out there talking about they're selling for $25,000. After the websites, different ticket websites experienced severe lag and outages, so people were trying to scalp Spider-Man No Way Home tickets. Did you grab your ticket, Dalan, or?
Nah, I'll just wait until the day it comes out.
You gotta sit way in the front, Dalan. Okay. You gotta sit way in the front or way out in the edges somewhere.
I'll wait until the next day or the weekend, whatever. But I know I'm gonna have places to sit.
Look, we don't agree very much on many things, Dalan, and on this one, I agree with you, man. What are people doing here? What are people doing? Just wait till you can get a decent seat, man. And there's plenty of movie theaters. I don't know if that's what it is, right? Because, the whole model nowadays is to have a dinner and the movie experience type of thing. So maybe that's what it is, right? These things are 20 seats, 20, 25 seats. So, of course, people want the best seats. Luis, what about you, man? You care about any of this stuff? You surprised that people are out here scalping tickets?
I typically wait at least a week to watch a movie in theaters when it first comes out, if I'm watching it in theaters. So this should not affect me whatsoever.
Yeah, black out for yourself. Try not to get in. Try not to
I
have
would
spoilers.
never reach a point where I needed to watch a movie that badly that I dropped $25K on a ticket. So that's if you got that kind of money, good for you, I guess. You probably got a Gucci Xbox 360 or Xbox as well, so whatever.
Hey, I can't say that Spider-Man No Way Home isn't going to be successful, though. I feel like it's going to succeed.
I feel like you don't see this from a lot of movies, right? That they're like, oh, scalper says. So the hype is going to be real for this one.
I think that's just the culture now, dude.
Yeah, well, the culture of scalping or the culture of getting tickets?
I think everything's just scalpable now. That's what it is.
Everything's scalpable now.
Yeah. It is scalpable, but people love their Spider-Man, dude. That's all it says, man. People love their Spider-Man. They're ready for this one. Look. If I don't see it day one, it's fine. I'll see it a few days later. Whenever I can
actually, hold on, Prue, get us tickets.
He's gonna bilk you or whatever the word is, Dalan. But he's gonna get you. So you better be careful. All right. Well, that's been a show. Salient Points 48 for November 30th. 2021. I don't know what I said at the beginning. I don't know if it was 30th. But November 30th, I'm Carlos Macias, your host. WeGotComs.com. Like, subscribe, all that fun stuff on YouTube. Dalan Kirkwood from Up in the Mountains, thank you for joining us again, sir.
Hey, I don't know what you said earlier. It was like Toon Swimmy or something like that. But just go watch Aqua Teen Hunger Force. It's fine.
All of a sudden. Luis Mendez on the Wheels of Steel. Thank you for joining me again, sir. And we'll see you guys next time. I will say, though, Dalan, I almost booted your ass in Halo, man. It said boot player. You were betrayed by Cloud Neftis.
Hey, I almost booted you 3 times, so don't put that on me.
All of a sudden. Latest.